guys, welcome to my channel. Well, I hope everyone is feeling good and all the rest of it. Guess what? Today I thought I would make some fun tops, and they're exactly that. They're fun tops. Now I have two different designs here. Now, in case this is the first time you've come to my channel, my name's Mandy and my channel is Come Sew With Me. And like the name says, that's what we do. But these ones don't require any sewing. They're just fun. So let's get to it, I guess. First thing we need is t-shirts that we haven't actually touched. Now, I have this tank top. Now, it's just a normal everyday tank top. You can buy a tank top or a t-shirt style, whatever you like. Now, you can find these anywhere in Target, Kmart or Big W. Try not to go for the cheap ones. Cheap ones are exactly that, cheap and nasty. Now, because I actually have been making these for a while, I did sell them. I had a shop for a little while and I sold them quite successfully, actually. So I did make patterns up for myself to make it a little bit quicker, because I had customers come in and basically had to have these made within 2 hours. So hopefully that's how long it's going to take you guys, but you know, if it takes a little bit longer, it is actually worth it, because I think they're beautiful and you can put your own little spin on all of them. Now we'll talk about the stencils. The stencils, okay, I got my stencils from Temu, and there's just such a big assortment of different stencils that you can get, and they are actually beautiful. You choose whatever you want. So I'm going to just pop those back now. So we get our t-shirt, but there is one little issue. Not everyone's iron is going to iron these properly. So please be aware of that. The iron needs to be really hot and you need to have like consistency over the area. But because I had a shop, I actually bought an iron press. So mine is pretty easy. This is my iron press here. I'll just tuck my things away there. This is my cool little iron press. It's pretty awesome. And I used to love playing with that in the shops. So let's see if we can get this thing working. Now, take off your tags and anything else that you've got. And yes, I don't use good scissors to cut plastic. My good scissors are for fabric only. We'll get that top, lay our top down, and it depends on what you like as to where you want to lay your piece down. So I might just leave it here because I've got to pick some things up off the floor, so I'll be right back. Okay, so apparently before I called my scissors sisters and my cameraman, or my camera lady, pointed out to me and laughed her backside off. So scissors, not my sister. All right, so I decided to go with this one. Now I'm hoping this stencil will look really nice on this tank top. So you get it pretty much where you need it. I position my tank top pretty much center it. So that's about, I think, where I might have it. I don't always give measurements out because I'm not sort of big on measurements. I mean, if you're going to make things like this, you just do it for yourself. Don't think you need to copy what someone else is doing. So definitely do it yourself. Now, with your stencil, make sure you have the back down where it should be. But if you want measurements, I'm going to say we're about 1.5 inches down off the top neckline. And we're probably 4 inches each side. The bottom doesn't really matter because once you get your stencil on, well, we're trimming the bottom up anyway. And I came up with 2 different designs out of the many different designs that I could do. And the 2 different designs were, one was for a t-shirt and one was for the tank tops. And we're doing the tank top right now. So we kind of need to let that warm up. But awesome tool, this thing. So we need to just let it warm up. And we can just focus on the tank tops up here or on the tops. As you can see, I've got others that I've already put stencils on. So once we finish this tank top, I was then going to do a t-shirt and show you how I do the 2 different designs. So as you can see there, the tank top has a curve going up. And the t-shirt has the curve going down. Fun. There's absolutely no sewing with this, so it is a little bit of fun. It's still heating up. So we might get back once it's ready. So there was a couple of things I forgot to mention. One is I actually live in Queensland, in Australia. So all those shops that I mentioned before, Kmart, Big W and Target, they're all Australian shops. So if you live somewhere else, I actually have no idea where you could find cheaper t-shirts, but I'm sure anyone from somewhere else, you would know where to go. So that was one. Now, the second thing was, before anyone asks, I don't actually remember what it's called, but you can buy these sheets from quilting shops, and they're used for your irons when you're doing appliques. They help to stop the sticky from the paper backing, you know, the sticks that sticks onto your fabric. It helps to stop it from sticking anywhere else. So I've actually bought 2 of them. One I have on the bottom, and the second one I go put that over top of all my stuff that has to be ironed. And the little smiley faces on the corner is for me to know which way it goes. So I don't get sticky on my iron at all. So this is to help protect my iron. Now we can go back in. It's nice and hot. I've already checked it, tested it out. So we're just gonna go down. Now this is all the press does. And it's so easy. It's my style of ironing, really, because I don't have to do anything. It does it all itself. Look at that. Love it. And it's actually the only thing that helps with yeah, I can't remember. This is what it's called because I haven't got it in its packet. But this is also for different fabrics. You put it on the back of fabrics and then you can put those fabrics onto quilted, you know, you're quilting and do all different shapes and stuff. And it helps hold your pieces in place while you either sew or quilt. So, yeah, fun stuff. This irons that stuff really, really well. So I just press my button again because I give this a couple of goes. It only really goes for 15 seconds. So easy. It's not like watching paint dry either because I find this quite fun. Others might not. I mean, we're just pushing a button, making it go up and down a couple of times. Like I said, it's my kind of ironing. Wouldn't you say so, Shelley? We actually don't really iron. The only thing we iron is in the craft room. Now, there we go. So I lift my paper off, take out my top, pop it over here. Just want to push my drill back in because I don't want to break it, and turn it off. Now, this is the top. Kind of got to let it cool down before you take that paper off. Now do be very careful when taking this paper off, and I actually do need to pop it back in, so turning it back on, lucky it's still hot. Some of them will be tricky, others, well, I bought them all my stencils from Temu. And some of them just iron on so well. Others, they're a bit painful, but yeah, it's okay. When you have the iron, it's fun. So what I'll do, I'll do this a couple more times and then we'll come back, because we've got the fun stuff, which is cutting. Okay, I'll be back. And we're back again. Now, this one was a little bit painful to take off, but all you gotta do is be very careful when you peel it off. Don't just rip away at it. Peel it off very slowly. And make sure that you're actually getting all of it off. And there we go, look at that. That's pretty good. There we go. So we actually got all of it. Set that aside. And there is our lovely stencil. Actually, I think it's quite nice. Now what we'll do to set it a bit more is I'm actually going to pop it back in again to just set it a little bit more. So again, I put it in between my paper. Paper is all to protect my iron. Push it in. Make sure it's in properly, and we press. Now because it's set for 15 seconds, I will probably do this a couple of times. Everything in my craft room at the moment is a little bit dusty. I have to work on cleaning that. That's not good. So we'll do it a couple of times to press it and make sure it sits properly. And what we're actually doing here is making sure, like these others, that when it goes through the wash, it's not going to come off. And again, I cannot say enough about my press. I love it. I'm not quite sure what the name of it is. Oh, there it is. It's a HTV Ront. Check them out. They're actually really good. I love them. It's one of my best things that I bought, besides my sewing machines, of course. Okay, let's have a look. Now be very careful when taking anything out of your press because it's pretty hot. So always be very careful of your fingers. Don't touch anything that's hot. I tend to touch things because I've been playing with irons and hot things for years, actually. So there we go. What do you think of that? It's sitting really nice. There's actually a bit of fluff there. I think that sits really nice. So get a good close up of that. Well, actually, I'll hold it up. There you are. Now that did take a little bit of work. Stencils can be a bit difficult, and that's why I say if you're going to get involved in stencils, or actually iron-on transfers I should call them, you do need to be prepared that they are a little bit tricky to get on. So if you know somebody who has a press, definitely ask them if you can have a loan of using it, because a normal iron is probably not going to do this. It's not going to do it very well at all. I have tried using normal irons with stencils. Yeah, no, they don't work. Trust me on that. They don't work. I'll be back in a second. Now we're ready for the cutting part. I have done this quite a few times before, guys. Like I said earlier, I had a shop and I sold these tops in the shop and I was very successful with it. So to save myself a lot of hassle, I came up with 2 different designs. Like I said in the beginning, on the tank tops, I have a curve going upwards, and on the t-shirts, I have the curve going downwards. Now, because I had these 2 designs, I made up my own patterns. And these are my patterns. They just felt really. And all I do is I fold my t-shirt in half completely, or tank top in this case. That's my tank top. And my patterns, I just simply did that. Grabbed a sharp pair of scissors and cut. Don't be frightened. It is scary the very first time you do it, but don't be frightened. And we don't need that piece. Like I said, don't be frightened. Now, there is a tag in there you probably won't need. And this is just the tags that are on all clothing. So very carefully cut that out like that. Now, like I said, they're rubbish. We don't need it anymore. Our t-shirt, tank top. Keep saying t-shirt, but it's a tank top. I'm sure you know what I mean. Shelley will correct me, and she's my beautiful camera daughter. And that's Shelley. So the first thing we're going to do, if you want to come up closer, our lighting's not the best, but we're working on that at the moment. Cut up the seam. Now we're really only cutting up. Well, I'll measure that for you so that we know exactly. It's really only, well, that's 4 inches on the edge, but 3 inches, I guess if you, some pieces are gonna stretch. So that's probably more than likely a 3-inch cut, I think. Like I said, I don't sit down and measure exactly everything. So it's between 3 and 4 inches that you're going to cut these. Up to you again. You don't have to stick to exactly everything, because I'll show you something shortly. I don't actually think I've got it in here. But I have another top like this that I did for myself. And the dangles, I think, ended up being about, oh, what's that? Yeah, about 6 inches. Plus being my top. I also added on more beads. On these tops that I sold, which is what we're making, I've got 7 beads. But on my personal top, I cut it longer, and I actually had, I think I had 10. Yeah, I had 10 beads. So it doesn't matter. You can do it any length, any width. Mine, I'm do roughly about 1 centimetre apart. So getting this all ready, I'm going to cut up the centre so that we have that centre cut. And because our print does come down pretty low there, I probably should have taken it up just a little bit higher, but you know what, that's okay. They still sell. Then have it folded in half. We're just kind of like, but I will show you this little trick. If you're a bit concerned about, my pen's not working again. It's like, no. If you're a little concerned, I mean, this one here is going to be a little bit shorter anyway. It's going to end up being just over 2.5 inches long. So, yeah, just over 2.5. So we'll do a little bit of a measurement here, or a line to follow. Just a bit over 2.5 there. So you can do this if you want. Sometimes I just don't. I just start cutting. Because not everything needs to be perfect. And then you just do your little line. I don't think you can see this on the camera. You can? Excellent. And that's just kind of like your little line to follow. So that's what you can follow. And because we've got the top folded in half, I actually have 4 strips at a time. So that makes this job really quick. And there we go. We just cut. Keep your cutting as straight as you possibly can, roughly about 1 centimetre. And we just keep cutting. And this is where we need really sharp scissors. Yay! Yay for sharp scissors. And I usually shut up when I'm cutting because I'm concentrating. Cutting is not my favorite job, but it is actually a very important job. Because if it's not cut properly, it shows up. And that is very true when you're using patterns. Now, if you're having a look at this, yeah, look, you know, it's not completely straight, but I'll show you how we hide that shortly. That is really the magical part of these fun tops. Does not need to be perfect. Perfection is in the eyes of the beholder. If you think it looks perfect, it's perfect. Alrighty. Now I just have to finish doing these little side seams because they're quite bulky. So do your side seam separate. It's like you're cutting that piece out. And that beeping in the background, that's my iron turning off. Love my iron. So the side seams, we cut up very close to your seam. Like so. And you create this little silly seam. And there's a reason for that. The reason is so it doesn't get too big and bulky. Now, you've finished cutting and yeah, it probably looks a little bit crappy, but run your hand down it. And this is where you make the magic happen. As you give it all a little bit of a tug, or a little bit of a pull, your little dangles curve up. Look at that. And don't they look nice? So there you go. Look at that. What do we think of that, guys?
It's good.
Yep. Another fun top. The other thing that I don't do is put beads on every one. We actually only pick out a couple. So those two little side seams that we made, they are your side ones. So they come out. Now this top's quite wide, so what have we got on that one? That one is, oh, that's a medium too. So we're going to pull up middle ones, which are probably these two. So a middle one for the front and the back, ones for the side. There you go. And one more down here. So get it as straight as you can, and I'm going to say probably that one, I reckon. Just going to pull that one up and that one up. What do we think? So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 8 that are going to have beads on them. So I'm going to leave it here for a couple of minutes, do up my beads, my bead selection, you know, choose my colors. And the beads that we're going to put on, actually, these, they come from Spotlight. And you get them in so many different colors. You can get them in bright colors or softer colors, which are pastel-y colors. You can get them actually in any color. They're fun. They've got a bigger hole on them, which is pretty easy to thread fabric through. So I'll just quickly show you. That's it. That's all we do. So, yep, grab your beads from Spotlight. Here in Australia, it's Spotlight. Or Lincraft, actually. Lincraft carries them as well. But yeah, I think most of these I got from Spotlight. I do go to Spotlight a lot. So I'll be back in a second. We're just going to pick up our color code that we're going to decide on. And then we'll just finish this top off. And it'll all be done because it's almost finished. Hasn't even taken us 2 hours yet. I'll be back shortly. Hey guys, back again. All right, now I went ahead and I chose my bead sequence without you. And this is what I came up with, which I really like for this piece. I've put most of them on, but I've left one just to show you very quickly how easy it is to put these beads on. Now, at the same time, sometimes you will come across this in the beads. And when you come across that, well, unless you can find a tool that's going to knock that piece out, the best thing to do with those ones is just toss them out. All right, now my bead sequence, and I think that's really nice. It kind of just represents fire, which is what I wanted it to do. Looks nice. Looks nice with the print. So, here we go. Fiddly, yes. Takes a little bit of time to do it. Yeah, probably. But the end result, I'm sure you will agree, you've really customized your own tank top or t-shirt. And I think they look beautiful. Absolutely no sewing in this one. Just cutting. There we go. So we've got our beads on. Kind of hold it a little bit, stretch it, and knot it. And that is all we do. Bring the knot into a good spot. Try not to pull it too tight, but tight enough that it's not going to come undone. And that is what's going to hold your beads on. See? Now, put it on a coat hanger. And there we go. Now this design, I came up with this idea because I actually saw a top ages ago that had beads, and it was cut like, well, cut, actually no, it was cut straight across that one. So coming up with these two designs of my own, which I quite often do. I see things, I like it, and I come up with a design that I like. So just give it a bit more of a tug in places. And there you go. The only thing that you need to do to that now is if you're selling, which I did, sew a name tag on it. And that's it. And that is my name brand. My business tag for all my work, and you will see it in the videos as we progress that most of the stuff that I make has that tag on it. And my business name is Mystical Creations, which I really love the name. So, but there's that. That is the tank top. And just very quickly, I'll show you how we cut the t-shirt so I don't actually have to make another video for you. So you grab your t-shirts, fold it nicely. We already have the stencil on. And when it comes to beads, I jammed everything in there. When it comes to beads, I've actually just tucked them all away. Choosing beads is probably the fun part. Yeah, just keep them out. That one's really nice. I like that. So choosing your beads, you would open up and look at the colors that you have in your stencils. You know, for example, this one up here, you would use a lot of greens, a little bit of red, maybe a bit of purple and yellow. With this one, we've used red, orange, yellow and white. which really looks nice. That one, we kind of came up with a funny combination there to try and take out the colours in that one. Again, in this one, yeah, you would probably go for a pink colour, a red, definitely black, white and green. So choose your colours to match your transfers. And you really get this nice thing happening. It just fits and it works. But I'll just quickly show you what we do with this one. Now again, I have patterns for it all. It's a medium. There we are. Now this pattern I use for this one. Hang on a second. And this is how I use my patterns, guys, if you want to have a close-up for all these fun tops. And they really are fun tops. Okay? I have it on the edge. Now again, come up with your own idea. It doesn't have to be exactly like mine. It doesn't have to be exactly like anybody else's. Come up with your own designs. And that's what I'm all about. So you just put your pattern on. And cut. Again, sharp scissors. Sharp scissors are a must. And that is all you do. So I'm not going to completely finish this one. I just wanted to cut the bottom to show you how I get my two different designs. And that's how I get them. So I'll finish this one off. But in the meantime, I hope you enjoyed this one because I really did. And it really is a fun top. I love it. My only mistake on this one is my transfer is a little bit too far down. So keep that one in mind. And, you know, like when you're cutting out and everything, keep it in mind and probably keep your transfers a little bit higher. But other than that, I think it's okay. I think it looks good. I love the colours and I hope you did too. So guys, keep coming in, keep popping into my channel. Come in, say hello, like and subscribe and share with a friend. I have so much that I want to show you and we're going to learn bits and pieces as we go because I did have a business and I did sew to sell. So come in, say hi, and thanks for watching. Bye. Bye.